Hey, what's up, guys? This is Rich from KME Gamer TV. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit the difference between Battlefield 4 and Call of Duty Ghosts. So, mostly just going to be talking about the comparisons in each game, not between the two, because they're both separate, very separate games. So, I'm just going to jump right into it. So, we're going to start with Battlefield 4. And basically, I mean, it's an incredible game. It's visually looks a whole lot different than Battlefield 3. I mean, I guess it's more realistic, I should say. The maps are absolutely incredible. They're nice and big, and there's smaller ones, just like any other, the other Battlefields or whatever, but based on what type of gameplay you're playing, such as like deathmatch, they're obviously going to be a little bit smaller, and Conquest Large is going to be a lot bigger. There are dynamic events that happen. It's like DICE calls it Levolution, and it can range anywhere from a part of the dam getting blown up in a level and causing a spill to a skyscraper getting destroyed. And instead of there being a spot to capture on top of the building, it will be inside a bunch of rubble. And it will actually show there will actually be debris scattered throughout the city. For example, they brought back the commander mode, which is also very cool, where basically the commander gets some special perks he can call. You can like set certain objectives, and it'll show up on all your teammates' screens to basically go after that one if that one is a priority. I'm not really sure if that's 100% efficient, because I'll be playing sometimes and they'll just mark one, and I notice I'll end up going there and then nobody else will be there. Like, they just don't care or whatever. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm sure that's something they're gonna tweak with as they go along, just like everything else. But it is definitely one of the best multiplayer games I've played in a long, long time. It makes Battlefield 3, honestly, it kind of ruined it for me. When I was playing the beta, I didn't actually want to go back and play Battlefield 3, but unfortunately I did, because I just, I had to wait, I think it was a couple weeks before the actual release of the game. But now it's been out for a little over a month, so... or no, actually not even a month. Yeah, well, about 20 days or so, 25 days. But some of the things that I do not care for is sometimes on some of the servers, some of the modes and maps kind of mismatch. And people have told me this has gotten better, but I'm not really sure if that's just something they're working out, or if that's just how the system works or whatever. But it does have a single player campaign. However, to what I've played, it wasn't very, I don't know, it wasn't very impressive. I mean, wasn't something that made me want to continue to play. I played it more or less because, it's always fun. It's a little more visually packed than, say, like the multiplayer, and it's a little more like playing a movie or something. But basically, for the standard that Battlefield is set for first-person shooters, and at the level that they claim to be at, it could have been a lot better. There have definitely been some bugs since the rollout. However, I know a lot of them have been fixed recently. For example, there was an issue where like the landscapes on the exterior of the maps they would actually just kind of glitch. It would look like they would glitch. They would kind of glimmer in and out, uh, almost as if like your graphics card was kind of having trouble running it or whatever. But it actually wasn't a graphics card issue. It was just I don't know what it would be, but it was some kind of glitch. But lately I've been playing. I haven't seen it, and it seems to be. It looks so much nicer. For the first like week or so, they did not have the queue in multiplayer, and as a result, it was very difficult to get into servers because it was basically you had to refresh and finding if you're like me and you like to play almost full games, there would be. I mean, it was really tricky because you click on one that has like 5 slots open. By the time you click on it, it's full, just because there's everybody else is doing the same thing. But that has been taken care of. The queue has been put back in place by a patch that was put out about a week or two ago. And also, if you're a premium member, you get priority queue prioritization. So, but obviously, if everybody's got premium, then it just goes in order. But that's still kind of cool. The Levolution I want to talk about again, as far as a negative to the game, is kind of dull. I was kind of expecting it to be a little more, like they're talking like these were things that were gonna like totally change the face of the game, and although they do in some respects, but for example, it's just like I mentioned with a build, you can take a building down, but it'll take quite a bit of explosive power to take it down, and then it's usually only like one building or say one ship that gets jammed up into the beach. Although the weather change is really cool, but yeah, I think they could have just made it where like the whole game was just you could just do whatever you want, like blow a giant hole in the ground or something, so you can all play in a crater or something like that. I don't know, but I'm sure that'll come. But yeah, I don't know. It just could have been. It could have been a little bit more than what they. I mean, it just kind of felt like they hyped it up to be a lot more than what it actually was. So, if you played this game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But despite all that, the cons do not outweigh the pros. It is an excellent game. It is a blast if you have friends. There's nothing better than one buddy driving a tank and the other buddy shooting it, and just watching your kill count and your scores go up and just having a good time, or shooting on a helicopter midair. Oh, that's actually one thing I forgot to mention. Yes, the main pro about Battlefield is they have vehicles. That is my major draw to it. I love, I just like the option. I want to get in a helicopter and start shooting it up. That should be a choice. If you use what you want to use, whatever your strong point is. They do have 4 classes, and it's one is recon, which is like basically your sniping class. Engineer, which is your like anti vehicle class, which typically you can repair, destroy, tanks and whatnot. You have your assault class, which is the like guys who heal. I think that's right. Yeah, that's the guys who heal. You can revive your friends, and then support, which is like basically the big guns. The light machine guns class and the ammo replenishment. So yeah, if you are definitely on the fringe about looking for an awesome game of 2013, Battlefield 4 is definitely it. I would highly recommend it. Alright guys, so now we got Call of Duty Ghosts. I'm going to be talking about, game was really hyped up. This is Infinity Ward's version of the game. As you know, they trade off every other year. So this is the same creator as Modern Warfare 3. Which I like Modern Warfare 3 a lot. However, I did not feel that they did probably the best job that they could have. And again, I'm gonna go through the pros and the cons. You know, some things I like, some things I didn't like. But obviously, you know, as far as some of the pro side, the graphics are a little bit better. You know, as they should be. Now, what's stupid is, this is kind of a side note, but if you're getting an Xbox One, the game will actually only play natively in 720p. It's 60 frames per second because of limitations of the console. And on PlayStation 3, or I'm sorry, PlayStation 4, it will play at 1080p at 60 frames per second. So that is the difference between the two systems. Xbox, they kind of cheaped out on the memory and some other crucial parts, and they kept bragging it wouldn't make a difference. But I played it for PC, so you know, obviously it doesn't really matter to me. But just figured I'd put that out there. So anyway, I do like. Now, this is for the multiplayer. I do like how they basically made it more of a team game. You know, similar to how Battlefield is. They have a much more robust class system. There's more meaning to, you know, what you choose for the attachments for your gun and how you do it. The way that they did it, I'm not 100% sure that I like. They made it where you actually earn squad points, and you earn your unlocks based on, you know, X amount of squad points. You know, for example, a suppressor costs 4 squad points, or to unlock this gun is 5 squad points. So it's not just like using this gun. You keep using one weapon and you keep unlocking it. So you basically, you know, if there's one weapon you do better with, you know, you can have that all set up for the games when you need it. But if you know, say, you know, playing pretty easy enemies, or you know, it's an easier gameplay, you know, maybe you want to, you know, work on some of these other weapons. And basically, you can pick and choose how you use your squad points. So you don't necessarily need to use the same gun to level it up. I kind of like it, but I kind of don't. I don't know. Maybe I'm still torn. I guess I just got to get used to it a little more. But the campaign. Now talking about the campaign, is just amazing. I mean, it's visually, it's stunning. It's well done. It has a wide variety of different missions and different mission types. It's driven by excellent pacing, and you know, it's got, like I said, you know, a whole bunch of different things to do, as in most of the other Call of Duty. So they've always been really good with that. You know, you get to use different weapons and whatnot, so it's not just you using your gun all the time. That's what kind of makes the Call of Duty fun, as far as the campaign goes, and that's something I think that Battlefield could definitely learn from. In this one, they also added the gameplay Extinction, which is basically you and your teammates survive waves of aliens over, you know, the traditional zombies. So I kind of like how that was something they kind of switched it up. In this game, they now back to the multiplayer. Basically, they wanted to go to a more ground-based approach, you know, as opposed to having, you know, an Osprey in the air and a attack helicopter and a Predator missile. So it kind of returns to the roots, and I kind of like how it is. How that was done, because it kind of levels it out, because it really almost became unfair at a certain point where, you know, those guys are getting all these kills and then the air is just dominated by them. So that was kind of cool. You know, one of the big things they were hyping up was a dog, the attack dog. And he actually comes in handy. He will sniff out enemies. He will attack enemies. But he can also give your position away. But I rarely have seen that outweigh the good things that he does. So now, some of the more negative things that I really didn't care for, and maybe they're gonna fix these things. Overall, the multiplayer system is very complex. It's more of a strategical shooter than rather than just pick them up and play. It really, I mean, unfortunately, I want to say that, you know, despite this being a next gen game, I really wasn't super impressed with the graphics. I mean, they are obviously nicer. They are obviously more fluid, but the game itself, as far as on the PC, now I haven't actually played it on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox, so you'll have to watch somebody else's video for that. It just doesn't seem, I don't know, just doesn't seem like something that it should be. You know, it doesn't feel like what they were saying. You need 6 gigabytes of memory and all this. Now, granted, they have changed that, so you do not no longer need 6 gigabytes of memory just to play. The maps, the individual maps in the multiplayer are too big for traditional 6-on-6. I mean, I swear to God, there's some games where I would be running around for, you know, a minute, 2 minutes, sometimes 3, and I would not see a guy. And I might be exaggerating on the time there, but they are overly big maps, and they're just it's better when you have like ground war, when you have like say 8, you know, the larger teams. But for 6-on-6, it just feels a little big, and it feels like, I don't know, it doesn't feel very well balanced. Now I'm going to compare this to Black Ops 2. It feels like they left a lot of features out. For example, the field of view adjuster, and the streaming option, or live streaming option, the emblem editor, just to name a few. I mean, those are all things that, you know, could be argued aren't really necessary for the game to be great, but they gave it an extra element. I mean, you're paying $60 for a game, and that's what people like to do. They like to customize, you know, more so than just making their character. Although you do get to customize your character, you are, you know, you have to unlock that stuff as well, and it really isn't. It's basically just change. You know, it's no different than changing your, to me at least, no different than changing your camos for your guns in past games. They also removed competitive league play, and it kind of feels like they're going backwards as far as like game progression, you know, game design. And finally, right now, the spawn system is terrible. I mean, people have complained about it. I've heard people complain about it on Xbox, on PlayStation, and mostly on PC. But basically, it just makes some of the high end, you know, assault kill streaks basically impossible to get, because, well, the odds are against you. At some point, you're gonna spawn, or somebody's gonna spawn right in front of you, and you're just gonna die. It happens every game, so that is definitely something they need to work on. Yeah, so those are some of the major issues, and basically, overall, I would have to say that I would not recommend Call of Duty. I have found myself not recommending it, saying that if they want to get a game, that I would recommend Battlefield, because it is much more fun. It is, it feels like Call of Duty was trying to strive to what Battlefield is, but, you know, at the same time be a Call of Duty, and, you know, Call of Duty has a good niche, and I feel that it kind of, although I don't think that stepping out of the box is a terrible thing, but I think in this case, I think they tried to make it something that it's not, and I think in the long run it's going to hurt them. So there's only one way for you to know, and that's to pick it up and play. I would recommend playing both of them before making your decision, but I would definitely pick Battlefield 4 over Call of Duty. Now, I am not a believer in comparing the two directly because you cannot. They are not the same game. They are not, the same. You can't put them on the same scale. So, I mean, as far as campaigns, like the first-person player, yeah, you could kind of compare those, and as far as is it good or bad, and the Call of Duty one is excellent, but the Battlefield one could definitely use some work. But I mean, it's not terrible, but it's just not. It's not. I mean, there definitely wasn't their priority when they made the game. And in all honesty, I'm not too sure a lot of people buy the game to play the campaign. But I know a lot of people do go to Call of Duty, so. Well, thank you for watching. This is Rich from KME Gamer TV. I invite you to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. So I appreciate you listening to my rant, and hopefully that anything I said helped. I would definitely recommend checking out both games before making a decision, but Battlefield 4 is definitely going to be my choice in the end. So